and welcome to This Car Pod.
I'm Kennan.
I'm Filippo.
And let's start with the news. Big news this week.
Yes, the Audi TT is back. Audi is releasing a new concept. They're calling it the Concept C, and this is going to be a fully electric, hardtop convertible, two-seat sports car that they're going to release soon in conjunction with them joining Formula One. They want to get some of the sporty cars back out there. It is based on what will be the new Cayman Boxster platform.
Look at this. This is a beautiful thing. You guys don't remember when
cool.
the TT came out in the late 90s. Well, were you there when it came out in 97? I remember.
Yes, I was in Europe.
Filippo, you didn't speak English at the time.
Exactly, but the Germans didn't either.
Automobile Magazine had it on the cover, and it said that the headline was Audi shows us its TTs, and that was like they got like a ton of hate mail for that.
It's a tough headline. Tough headline.
But that car was revolutionary. This is beautiful. This is so cool.
I think it is really cool. I am excited for this. Admittedly, when the old TT came out, it was such a new design language. Like you said, it introduced the fenders.
Changed a lot of things.
Changed a lot of things. I don't know if this does quite as much, but it is cool that it is coming back and to have a TT again. I think will
You know what the fellow who designed the original TT is doing right now?
Designing Kias. No, he left Kia.
No, I think he's still there.
Who
Peter
knows?
Schreier, I think he's still there.
I know who you're talking about.
I think he's still at Kia doing the Kia thing. So this is full electric. It's right now a concept car, but they have already announced it's going to be a production car, and this is a illustrative of what their design philosophy will look like.
Right. Now, it is interesting that something is coming out on this platform before the Porsche upon which it's based. Now, I wonder if that's for them to test, like, is this viable? Do people like it? What tweaks can we make before the maybe more important Cayenne?
Or do we know, will there still even be a Porsche?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that, that they know that it's going to be a gas car. The Porsche
Cayman and Boxster production ended this week. That they're not making anymore.
There's the news.
Sad week for us all.
R.I.P.
But
1996. 30 years of that car.
With the gas in.
Beautiful car.
Well, there'll still be a Boxster, maybe. It might be electric.
A Boxster EV is not a Boxster.
Oh, the original Boxster.
I'm going to say
Spoken like a purist.
So
I'm not a purist about the Camry, but like the Boxster come on, it's a manual.
agree.
The whole point is like a manual, like you're in the car, glued to the road, like experience. I drove those early 986s. They are fun.
Well, the EV will have lower weight mass. Center of gravity will be lower.
Yeah, but it's going to weigh
more
an extra
grounded
1,000
to the road.
pounds. It's going to have
What?
full.
It's going to have a flat six? No, too bad. Neither did the 718. Were you mad at the 718 Boxster?
You're correct, and then they came out with the 4-liter. They sold a lot of those, and
Enthusiasts
everybody
will be
wants
clamoring for the 718 when they find out that the next
that's
one's
their
electric.
strategy. They make an engine nobody wants, and then make it desirable.
They want to drive interest purely to the secondary market. The pre-owned cars.
Regardless of what happens with the Porsche, which we will cover in grave detail, and I stress the word grave when it happens. This I am into.
Cool.
Audi doesn't have like a storied history that we don't come to Audi for dynamics. We never did, even for the original, the TTs. They were good, but they were never up to the level of their rivals. This is cool. It looks cool, and it would be cool if it existed.
Yeah,
And it will.
I'm hopeful that the production car does end up looking like this, and they say that it seems like it will.
The only thing I can promise you is that it won't.
Exactly.
Do you remember when the Audi came out with a concept car called the Rosemeyer?
No.
Pull this up. This is one of the ugliest things you've ever seen, and it's called the Rosemeyer, which
That's a car.
Oh yeah, isn't this the Avus?
No, the Avus is crazier. The Rosemeyer.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah, they got the mirrors on the roof so that the
So
people
this-
behind you can see themselves.
This looks like an R8 and a TT like ran into one another.
But earlier. But earlier.
But like kind of in the like late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah. It's really
How
heinous.
interesting. I think it's cool as hell.
Oh, well, it looks, I don't know.
I think that this will be a little bit more true. I mean, that concept seems kind of realistic for what 2027 vehicles look like.
If Audi can create a car that looks like this, I am here for it. If Audi can actually come to market
They're
with a car,
mirrors. That's a good sign.
they apparently have a new head of design, and he's trying to make a splash. And he's Italian, which all great automotive designers ever
Except
have
for Peter
been.
Schreier.
True.
That's true. Schreier's a great.
By the way, he
automotive
retired in 2023.
designer. He's gone. Oh. One time, here's a story for you. One time, I was on a Kia trip in Seoul, a press trip for the Niro EV, and we were
car worth
having
flying
dinner
to.
in the Kia employees cafeteria, and it's this massive room, and it's 2 stories high, and there's like a bio wall, and it was late at night. The thing had gone on all day, the drive, the presentations, whatever, and we were having dinner, all the journalists, and the only other person there having dinner was Peter Schreier with a couple of Korean guys.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was like, whoa, that's legit. And everybody was like looking at him like, that's the guy. That's Peter. Okay, all right, next news story, please.
I have good news. Nissan has been listening to this podcast. They've been listening to Doug talk about how they should bring back the Xterra, and boy, will they.
Yeah, they canceled the Xterra 2015-ish, right as the off-road SUV market was starting to heat up. It was the single worst automotive product planning decision in my lifetime.
Really? We're going with that?
Can you think of a worse one? There are some bad ones that a lot of companies have.
Yeah, I'm sure it
But
can.
this was egregious. And then they had this like arrogance about it. Like, we're not going to bring it back. We don't need it. We got the Frontier. You know, we could make it easily off the Frontier, but we're not gonna. That market's going to die. Meanwhile, since they've canceled this car, Toyota's sold 1.5 million 400.
Yep.
But anyway, they're bringing it back.
The new Xterra will reportedly come back in 2028 with a V6 and a hybrid power. Some earlier reports from last spring that kind of mentioning this thought it would be an EV. Apparently, it will not be a hybrid. This is part of a large push that Nissan is doing to introduce new models. They plan on having 20 newer, updated models between now and 2028. Body and frame platform, purportedly.
Legit. Just like I was saying, Honda was too scared to do. Nissan, go do it.
Which must be a bespoke one. The Frontier doesn't exist anymore.
Frontier. What do you mean? It's brand new. Frontier. It's a Frontier chassis. That's how Toyota does it with the 4Runner and the Tacoma.
Fair. There'll also be like an updated Rogue. There might be an Infinity with the twin turbo V6.
You know what
we
would
don't
be
know
great?
yet.
An Infinity Xterra G-Wagon.
Oh,
Finally, Infinity gets some cred.
Yep.
What if they could pull this off?
They can't.
I mean, it's Nissan, they won't, obviously, but if they could, this would be pretty cool.
It would be a flagship Infinity based on the new Xterra. By the way, I'm all for a V6 hybrid Xterra. Toyota has obviously gone the hybrid route. The body on frame thing is great. Super here.
And hopefully it looks something like this. There have been some spy shots. It looks like they've revealed it as part of the presentation. It has the Nissan front end and like a very boxy rear end, which is good.
Dude,
the Armada is also body on frame. They're used to it.
The Armada is boff.
Yep.
Yeah, they know what they're doing, dude.
Yep.
And they sell that as the Patrol in the Middle East, and people drive those over sand dunes. That car is hot out there, and not just because the weather's hot. You know,
That's nice.
Part of Nissan's product offensive. Go to the next one. Includes, Doug, some good news for you.
Nissan has announced that they are going to do a manual Nismo Z. Because when they announced the Nismo Z initially, apparently there was so much clamoring from enthusiasts that they had left off a manual that they listened to enthusiasts are going to make a manual. You know what my response to this is? Don't bother. I was one of the people clamoring, right, when I reviewed that car because I thought it was insane that they were doing this. I clamored.
Yeah.
But my review of the Nismo Z came out. Oh, Throttle has its top billing.
Oh.
My review of the Nismo Z came out, that was January of 24. It's been 2 years. They've sold 11 units.
12.
12. It's 2L2L.
Too little, too late. Dang.
Do you not agree with me?
I think it will get them some additional sales. 12, 13, 14 total. No, I mean, they should have had it from the beginning, obviously.
Yeah,
I've been surprised at what a flop the new Z has been.
It's because the backup camera is really bad.
It uses a lot of parts from the old Z, which I think was one of the reasons they were able to even make a new Z.
Yeah.
And one of those is the outdated backup camera, which is fine. But it's been a huge flop, and I'm surprised they're even putting any effort into this. Like, it's clear to everyone this car will not see another generation, even though it's brand new. Like, they're trying to save a little face here. Oh, we're going to have a manual.
Well, let's be honest. It probably wasn't that hard.
Well, then they should have done it.
Nissan product planning.
Yes, I suspect they held off on it in hopes that this would garner more interest later on in the product.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they did.
And that was a mistake. They should have done it. It's because it isn't going to.
I don't think they were planning to do a manual initially, but I do think once they saw the demand, they did hold off on it, being like, hey, let's give it 2 years of sales with an auto, and then we'll come out with a manual, and those people will buy new ones. But I think the truth is that no one is buying new ones.
Right.
I do see a lot of Supras.
That is a very good point. I was thinking that yesterday when I saw a new Supra driver.
Shocked.
Yeah.
And I watch a lot of Instagram reels of people with like crazy modded ones getting pulled over by the police.
Yep.
So like they're around.
We saw it at Car Week. But I also it is such a shame though, because I like this car, but we do live in a place in the country where we see a lot of new cars. We can gauge pretty actively where consumers are buying things. Yep. And I never see these cars. I maybe three.
I will say though, California actually has a specific bias, I think, against certain cars and towards others. Like I saw a Buick, that Buick that I sent you.
You sent me a picture of a new Enclave.
A new Enclave. I pull up next to me and I'm like, what is this car?
Well, that's why you sent it to me. Buick Enclave. Yeah.
There's not a lot of Californian buyers of that. California, I think, though, is actually biased towards buying Asian cars generally. Asian cars have a long history here. There's more Asian people on the West Coast generally. Nonetheless,
Don't see them.
Nope,
we don't see these.
None.
like in the Midwest, I can imagine this car is completely non-existent.
Yeah.
Shame.
They got Mustangs.
But, and also Marque Golfs, GTIs and Rs. When we were at Road America for that event, I've never seen more Marque
Really?
GTIs.
It was the
Rs than
unofficial
that.
car of that.
It
Like
was
without
wild.
question. It was crazy.
Never see them here.
And
ever.
I saw one. This is the one you have, right? The Mark 8s.
Yeah.
I saw one today on the road, and it said 40 on the side, and it was bright
the 40th
lime
anniversary.
green.
Yeah.
Looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I felt bad. I felt so bad because the people in it were clearly car enthusiasts, and I was in this Maybach SL.
Oh.
And if it had been tomorrow, I'd drive in the Countach to work, and
They
could
would have been so into it.
Okay, give us our next news story. Oh, Ineos. Ineos is dropping prices, and it is a significant drop.
It really is.
The SUV is down $8,000. The Quartermaster, which is somehow the name of the pickup truck, is down almost $9,000, $8,500. They still are expensive. The SUV starts $72,000. The truck starts at $86,000 because of the chicken tax. It's great news for Ineos enthusiasts. I have a personal opinion about Ineos, though.
Oh, please.
I think like two opinions. Number one is it came and went. It was cool as hell.
It just came.
It was cool.
It came
as
out
hell.
2 years ago. Still a new product.
Yeah, but my point is like it has come and gone.
No, it's gone.
Like the people who really wanted them got them, and they're not the easiest sell to people who don't really want them.
Yep.
That's true.
Second thing about Ineos, I kind of think that the Grenadiers are for rich guys who want to like seem like they're like I think like rich guys want an old SUV, but they're like no, they're not like ready for that.
Yep.
And they get a Grenadier. That's what I
100%.
see when I see a Grenadier. That's what I think.
Yes.
Like you wanted an old Defender, but you weren't
That's
like
why
that.
And they didn't want to wait to do. They didn't have the patience to do a resto mod project. So they just want something new.
Well, but you can buy a resto modded ones are pretty easy to find, like just available. But I think even then, these are like guys who like they want a Defender, like an old Defender or a G-Wagon, but they want air conditioning, they want infotainment,
Safety.
like to be honest, like and they hope that it kind of pulls it off. And I'm not entirely
I think
convinced it
you've
does.
just described the mission statement of it. That's what they've always been.
Maybe it works then. Maybe it's fine. Huge price drops are because these are not selling. If you go to an Ineos dealer, we have one here in San Diego. If you go to an Ineos dealer, I don't know if you've been paying attention. It's down in National City, and if you looked online, the unbelievable inventory at these dealerships. There've already been big incentives. There's already been big lease programs. A price cut is no surprise. They're way stacked up. We had heard they were going to stop production for a while. There's not an enormous amount of demand right now for these.
Not really a surprise, I guess.
They need a different vehicle.
They produced too many. Like they should have accepted that it was going to be a niche vehicle, especially in the U.S., and made it limited production.
You never know what goes into these production numbers, what rules,
Yeah.
they build this thing in France, what rules did they create with the French union? I just think ultimately the market dictates demand, period. The automaker wants to dictate demand.
No.
Right? Like, this is cool. You're going to buy it. Well, 58,000 of them sitting at dealer lots tells you where the
Tariffs
market is.
also did hurt them pretty
Tariffs
substantially. They increased prices as a result, and now clearly need to decrease the sell of any inventory.
Yeah. Okay. Next news story, please.
Yeah. Speaking of companies that are struggling, Lotus. Lotus.
And speaking of
British
tariffs,
companies.
British companies that
British-ish.
Exactly. So Lotus has announced that they lost $263 million in the first half of this year.
Yeah.
To be honest, not entirely surprised. However, this does come at the cost of a lot of jobs. They're cutting 550 jobs at the UK headquarters.
I'm astonished.
That they have 550 employees, same.
Astonished they have 550 employees.
cut.
Truly. I'm not exaggerating. I'm surprised to hear that. And to be honest, I'm astonished they have $263 million to lose. Where did Lotus get this money? Seriously.
Lotus, which is now owned by Geely, if memory serves.
Oh, yeah.
Does sell, their sales in China continue to increase slightly, but their sales were up in China in Q2. But because so many of their products are not made in China, there's large tariffs in the US, which is impacting all their entire product line except for the Mira. And I think they're struggling to sell it in Europe.
Well, their CFO
more
was-
than impacting, this car cannot be sold in the U.S. I'm going to go down as the only American who ever drove a Lotus Electra.
That's
Probably
so true.
That's probably true.
That's so
Because they
true.
sent it to us
Yeah.
to review. And I mean, a few other journalists drove it. But like,
You're
But
among
That
the
was
few.
it.
Which is really tough because they're in a tough spot paying off development costs. They're still paying off the development costs of the Emira. They're really still paying off the cost of that thing.
What is this? The Avija?
Yes, which of course we're still, waiting on. That still hasn't gone into production. So
Yeah.
they're in a really hard spot. To your point, their CFO was quick to point out their quarter-over-quarter growth was 35%, but still
in terms of volume, sales volume.
Yes, in terms
Year-over-year,
of
like that
revenue
overall.
growth, 35%. So,
But
but nonetheless, but this is the great Lotus tradition. Lightweight struggles with money. That is kind of how things have always gone.
lightweight. Do you know how much?
Well, not that
actually
one.
costs?
Not
Well,
that
I
one.
mean, I think that we're kind of getting away from some of the core Lotus principles just because the brand is strong. This is
Yeah.
how the Chinese are going to be able, if they want to infiltrate some of the Western car markets,
Yeah.
is taking some storied, beloved brands such as MG, such as Lotus, such as Volvo, and kind of infusing their capabilities, their technology capabilities, because there's always going to be sort of reticence from Americans in particular, but generally, Europeans, et cetera, to buying Chinese cars. And so the famed Lotus story of simplify and add lightness, I think it's now just like take a brand and
Pump some
do
cash
some
and
stuff.
do some stuff with it. Yeah. That said, the Emira is a phenomenal sports car. Like, it's a really excellent sports car. So it is just a shame that
Yeah.
I'm not selling as much. The value retention hasn't been as strong with the cars in general.
I do
they have
think
the Lotus problem.
the Electra not selling here is probably a good thing for Lotus. Like, it wasn't going to sell anyway, and
Yeah.
so they could save face and be like, we got tariffed.
Yeah.
Nothing we could do.
Out of our hands.
Massive drop in deliveries in Q2 year over year. Some increase quarter over quarter, but 44% down year over year.
Yeah.
So are they only selling cars in China, basically?
No.
They sell cars in cars in Europe.
Yeah.
I see Emiras here and there.
I've
seen
seen
Emiras with some
an Electra in Europe.
Really?
Yes. I have a picture of it. It was parked in the street in Verona.
Oh,
As it had sunken
was it
into
at
cobblestones.
Was it at a dealership?
No, but it was parked very illegally.
Was it at a dealership?
No, it was on the street.
dealership.
We all love driving, and if you're smart, every time you get in the car, you put on your seatbelt. Going online without ExpressVPN is like driving a car without a seatbelt. Even if you're the best driver in the world, would you really trust your life to all the other maniacs on the road? No. Every time you connect to an unencrypted network in cafes, hotels, airports, etc., your online data is not secure. Any hacker on the same network can gain access and steal your personal data. This means passwords, bank logins, credit card details, and more. It doesn't take that much technological knowledge to hack someone. I bet even Doug could figure it out in an afternoon with a couple of cold ones. The best news is that ExpressVPN is super easy to use. Fire up the app, click one button, and get protected. It works on all devices, phones, laptops, tablets, and more, so you can stay secure like a really nice seatbelt. I use this in my daily life to make sure all of my data is secure, and you really should consider doing the same. While I was gallivanting in Europe, I used this all the time to feel protected on not always so secure networks. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/cars. That's expressvpn.com/cars to find out how you can get up to 4 extra months free. expressvpn.com/cars. Click that seatbelt and find out how you can secure your data today.
Okay, next. So, Jay Leno, the Leno's Law situation.
Okay, I'm confused by this. Can you
All
explain
right,
it?
what you got? What you got?
No, I'm just confused.
Leno's Law is gone. It's done. There was a law that was going through the California State Assembly that was going to exempt historical vehicles from emission standards. The car was 35 years old or older, so 1990 or older. It was going to be exempted from emissions. And what's happened is it went into the Appropriations Committee, and the chair of the Appropriations Committee, who, by the way, is named Buffy Wicks.
Wow.
What?
Buffy Wicks.
Someone elected this person?
Buffy Wicks in Oakland. She represents East Bay. She didn't allow the bill. She and the committee, which is all Democrats, majority Democrats, didn't allow the bill to advance to the State Assembly for a vote, which is a shame, I think. The reason, she did not give a reason, which is what we've come to expect from our lawmakers.
Yeah.
God forbid they should be accountable to the people or communicate with the people in any way. These people who don't have any challengers from anybody, they don't have to do this. They can just keep running for office repeatedly and not be accountable. But it seems to me like there was a fear of cost associated with the bill. They would have to do special license plates. They would have to change all their forms. They would have to start figuring out exactly, does the car have insurance, et cetera. There was going to be more processes.
I mean,
the great irony, and of course this guy from the smog from the Air Health Association is quoted, who by the way I don't think is real. I looked him up, cannot find a LinkedIn. I think he's AI. Dead serious. I don't think they have a spokesman. I'm dead serious. And I think that whatever this organization is just lies about this dude being real. They named him like Michael Barrett or some like very
meanwhile,
generic
what's her name?
Buffy Wicks.
Right, but she's
Wicks.
a real person.
So my thinking is that the great irony of the whole situation is that all these cars are already here. The cost to California is happening now in lost registration fees.
Yes.
The fact that we can't register these cars in California has stopped no one from using the cars in California, but the state assembly is not particularly sophisticated. And I will say that watching this bill go through and watching it get killed now and watching some of the amendments made to the bill and some of the discussions around the bill really educated me on the fact that lawmakers don't know anything. And when something that you know a lot about appears in this sort of situation, you start to realize what else are they voting on that you don't know a lot about, but someone else does, and they're making stupid decisions in that case too. So they're like, oh well, it's gonna have a cost. It's gonna introduce pollutants. Well, no. It's going to be cost positive for the state because they're going to get revenue from all the registrations, and the pollutants are already here. And there are so many cars that would fit this law that are already driving around. The CHP doesn't even have the manpower to make these traffic stops anymore because there are so many out-of-state people. And you realize that these people are not particularly sophisticated.
That's why kind of independent part of governmental, like the Congressional Budget Office at the federal level are really important because that's how you get those analyses done. The states, though, don't have the capacity to do all that.
You know what the problem really is?
Partially because we insisted they cut costs, that they don't invest in that.
You know what the problem really is? There's not enough legislators. This is a little 180 from what you thought I would say. There's not enough legislators. I think that because the legislators don't have to answer to the people. Buffy Wicks doesn't say anything. She just kills the bill and moves on with her life, doesn't say anything.
They have to answer and that they get elected.
Yeah, but the problem is that she doesn't know her constituents. She's never done a constituent. She doesn't have to because she gets elected with 100% of the vote every time because nobody runs against her. If we had 1,000, I looked it up already, that's true. If we had 1,000 assembly members or 2,000, like in New Hampshire is the only state that does it right. Yeah. There's like, New Hampshire has like 600 state reps, even though the whole state population is like 800 people. Right. So most people in New Hampshire are state representatives, right? And if your neighbor was a state rep, and you could be like, hey, you really ought to vote for this. This would really actually have a benefit in getting the bills passed that the people want to get passed. There are 35 California state senators or some crazy. That's less than the number of U.S. House members that California has. So every state senator has a bigger district than the U.S. House members who we already know aren't listening to the people. So I think we should have 20,000 legislators.
Wow. Doug DeMuro
do you want to be one of these legislators?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. It doesn't matter because like so many people would be. You just kind of like you get a text message like, oh, there's a vote coming up, and then you vote. Like I said, it'll contribute to the politicians really knowing the issues.
Well, Doug DeMuro, are you announcing your
candidacy?
State House campaign right now?
I actually think it would be great. And I legitimately think this is a problem people have with politicians. And you start to realize these people have when I was a kid in Denver, our United States congressperson, I don't need to name names. I don't need to go down that road. But that person, that individual, there was no chance she was ever not going to be elected. And she continues, it's been 40 years to just exist without really being accountable. So would I run? Yeah, like, let's do this. Like, I want a job for life.
So the thing that you're not, that I think is kind of missing here is that person had a pretty much assured seat for life because she had constituents that supported her.
One time. Because she won that one race where there was, the previous person retires. This is what happens. The previous person retires. There's a groundswell, for their seat because everybody knows it's a job for life and you don't have to do anything. That person wins and then no one ever challenges that person ever again, right?
No.
Pretty much.
Only if there aren't challengers that think they have a realistic shot of winning.
Yeah, which is true.
So we should be encouraging people to run for local office.
Other options, 20,000 legislators. Anyway, the point is the legislators were not sophisticated enough, I truly believe, to understand the benefits of this, which is the cars are already driving around. Nobody's behavior is going to change. California will lose out on the revenue from the cars coming, and that's that.
Counterpoint. The only way that they become educated about that if there's a groundswell of support and people that are great at communicating, maybe who have a large YouTube following.
I wrote letters. We talked about it on the pod every day. They don't listen to their constituents. They don't have to. They're not
I don't agree with that thing, but if there's a groundswell of support, if there's great explanation for why that matters and that reaches them, it's more likely that they are informed.
I will say,
letters is one strategy. Let's be honest, that doesn't work. But media does. Participating in other media, becoming more visible on whatever channel.
Well, that's
So someone say that we did it then.
I will say.
No,
I will
clearly
say.
not enough. If you think they're not educated enough, we didn't do our job.
I will
We
say.
did. They didn't listen.
No.
Because they don't listen.
They don't
Gotta
listen.
reach
They
them.
don't care.
You got to reach them where they're at.
But where they're at is, I don't think they're that interested in listening. And also, I think part of the reason there wasn't as big of a groundswell of support, nobody cares. We all know we can get away with running out-of-state plates and nobody's ever going to challenge it. And by the way, it's impossible to prove anyway. This is something else I discovered. The law in the books is that if your car's 6 months in California, you got to register it. CHP has access to license plate readers.
Yeah.
CHP is only allowed to use those license plate readers for up to 90 days. So there's no way to prove, unless you get pulled over multiple times and they're like really going after you, there's basically no way to prove that your car's not registered in California. So like this, this is a cool idea. It's great. Everybody is going to continue to operate the cars knowing that there's really no enforcement step to getting you not to do that, nor is there a way to actually legally do it. So that's California in a nutshell.
Let's move on.
Move on to our next news story. The Audi
California.
RS6. Speaking of California, the Audi RS6, there's
connect
apparently, you don't think this is related to
No,
California?
plug-in hybrid. So yeah, we're good.
Exactly. There's apparently a next-gen Audi RS6 that's testing. You know what I sometimes forget? That the RS6, which is beloved and amazing and awesome, is based on the A6,
Whoa.
which is like one of the bad cars.
Crazy. There's a new A6.
But the previous A6 was the #1 slowest selling car on the entire market. The
age.
average A6 was like 650 days on the lot.
Well, it hadn't been like redesigned. It technically was redesigned like 2017 or something.
But it's an interesting
wasn't.
point because like the market's not that interested in the car that underpins this, but the market's really interested in this.
Yeah, they want the big boy.
It's like the GTI. At some point, they just stopped selling
I
the Golf.
would not be shocked if they stopped selling the other. I mean, there is currently an A6. It's electric, by the way, if you're wondering. It
wasn't.
The A6 e-tron Sportback is what it's called.
Didn't even know that.
Somebody
Great
on my
leaf
block's
deals.
got one of those, or maybe an A5.
Yeah, I saw
What's
someone
that?
at your house.
I don't know which one it is. Hard to know.
I'll point it out to you.
The next RS6 is supposedly going to be plug-in hybrid. You excited?
V8 though, plug-in hybrid V8, which is big, coming for a car that's coming out now from a platform that's otherwise mostly EV.
Well,
No-
yeah, but the rival is a plug-in hybrid V8.
Well, I know, but it's nice to see Audi kind of actually delivering on what they need to do.
How about the fact that Mercedes has just kind of bailed on this segment?
E53 is a plug-in hybrid V6.
Yeah, but the E53 is not a competitor to this car. I like the E53.
All these cars have so much power that honestly, they're all kind of competitors to each other.
Yeah, but the people who buy these cars, that's not how they feel about it. They're like every last horsepower, every 0 to 60 time, they like fight over on forums. Like they're really into.
They're
that
on
stuff.
Audi zine, arguing it back and forth.
To be fair, the 2026 Mercedes-AMG E53 plug-in hybrid wagon, which exists, but now 604 horsepower.
Yeah,
that's more than the last E63 wagon.
But the RS6 now has 621 currently, and if they do a plug-in hybrid, what does the M5 have? The
718.
M5 Touring is at 717. So there's
Are you impressed?
That was impressive.
there's a level where Mercedes can go, and Mercedes own this segment. I don't get it. Like
They probably will have an E63, right?
it's weird.
They should.
It's been a while since there was that thing that they didn't tell anybody about.
Where they didn't sell V8s for a year.
The gates for a year. They didn't.
But then
Little
they came back.
hiatus.
They came back. No one really knew what happened there.
No.
Someday, when Mercedes people are not under NDAs, I hope we get that full story. I will always wonder about it.
Nothing happened. Don't go for that. Nothing is good. It's a
Dude, if we'd
vacation.
been potting back then, I would have been hitting it hard. I don't think a lot of people know that happened.
No.
No, people are wondering, and you're not.
Well, we don't know. We're sitting
know.
here. Like there was a 2 years. 21 was the end of V8s for Mercedes. Mid-year, they just stopped for AMG. They
For
just
all
stopped
V8s,
doing
by the
it.
way.
They completely stopped. They never told anybody why. And then a couple years later, they came back, and there was never communication
Nope.
about it.
It was wild.
Weather was nice. Went on vacation. Forgot
Tired.
about VAs.
Serious.
Now it's back again. Don't worry.
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. And with football season finally here, there's no better time to jump in. Beyond the games themselves, Football season always means a new batch of car commercials, which tend to distract me from the games. But Prize Picks helps me get even more into the action with friends. It's simple. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. This week, I played a 2-pick power play for Buffalo, my nephew's favorite team, versus Baltimore, with Josh Allen to get more than 31.5 rush yards and Lamar Jackson to get fewer than 46.5. Now I'm really watching the game. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. You can download the app today and use code CARS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CARS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Do we have more?
No, I think
No, that is the end. Oh, wait,
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
Ford. Okay, I want to talk about Ford because this is important. Ford's been recalling a lot of cars. In fact, somebody told me it was the greatest number of recalls in the history of the automotive industry.
that was factually accurate.
Okay, do you know the genesis of this? And I'm not talking G70, dude.
The issue that you stole my Genesis joke. I don't know. Let me think of a better answer. No, I don't know the origin.
Okay, a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
Ford had to do a recall about backup cameras.
Sure.
You know this story?
I vaguely remember this. Yeah.
But do you know the story? What I'm
No.
saying? Okay. A couple years ago, Ford had to do a recall about backup cameras. They were recalling 600,000 vehicles, a recall in 2020.
Sure.
Ford, apparently, according to NHTSA and Ford, they signed a consent order. Do you know what that is?
Yep.
Yeah, because you had to, at one point, there was a custody battle for Filippo.
No. But I'm familiar with consent orders.
NHTSA and Ford signed a consent order. Ford didn't fully comply with this recall, and they were too slow, and they apparently weren't comprehensive enough or something. Ford signed a consent order. They would pay a massive fine to the government, $165 million, but also that they would have regulatory oversight of their recalls going for the next 3 years. And I think that Ford is still, they're still under the consent order, and I think they're trying to be by the way, I'm not excusing, but this is an explanation of why there are so many recalls from Ford. I think Ford is under this consent order. They are being monitored by an independent organization about the recalls, and they are just being incredibly careful and proactive about recalling cars. This latest recall, 900,000 more vehicles.
Yeah. It's 700,000 escapes maybe or something like that. And
if F-150 trucks' rear wiring harness could chafe against the rear axle, causing the electronic parking brake to unexpectedly engage while drive. Could chafe, Filippo.
could chafe.
It could chafe.
Spit some powder.
Ford also canceled the Escape. We didn't talk about this on the
did.
pod. No, we wanted to. We didn't.
We didn't talk about the Escape and the MKC.
I think that's a big news story. Legit. Ford cancels the Escape, which means that Lincoln, which is intended to be a luxury brand rival to Lexus and all them, doesn't have a compact. There's no Lincoln that rivals the RDX,
Hey,
the
hey,
X3,
Kennan,
the.
I'm fairly confident.
Kennan, what was that Lincoln called?
Well, that's
Is that Lincoln called?
Yeah, the one that was the competitor, the stablemate to the Escape and the competitor
I
to
get
the
your
famous
point,
GLC.
but that's my
and
point.
Not the Corsair.
It was a Corsair.
It was okay.
That's my point. The fact that Lincoln doesn't even have the recognition in the segment, let alone now they don't even have a vehicle.
They don't have
in
the car yet.
segment.
But I think there's something else coming. There's some EV is replacing it.
Do you think they canceled? This is a conspiracy theory. Do you think they canceled the Escape because they didn't want to have to recall it in 3 years? And they were just like, hey,
They still will have to recall it, by the way.
they were like,
the
hey,
ones
the
they've sold.
fewer cars we produce,
Yeah.
the fewer cars we will have to recall 700,000 of next year.
I think
Let's just stop making cars.
That's one approach.
the consent
The
order is a
wiring
good
harness could
understanding.
chafe.
That's bad.
The little known secret about a lot of things that are regulatory in nature is that they're often voluntary. Getting any kind of safety test done, crash test, that's actually largely voluntary in the US, but you do it because you want to be top safety pick plus, and some independent agencies will just buy a car and do it. Recalls, largely voluntary. Not exclusively,
Yeah.
but largely voluntary. So it is interesting, maybe they have so many because they know they need to be incredibly careful.
Yeah, because of this consent order.
Yeah. It's an interesting thought. Also, they should build cars without issues that require those little recalls. But hey,
You wonder, though, if other automakers were under such scrutiny, if they would also
Certainly.
probably be more proactive
Yeah.
with recalls.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying. I think Ford their quality problems over the last few years have been well documented and are very clear to a lot of people. Nonetheless, I think that's the
Yeah.
reason why we're seeing so many recalls out of Ford.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to move on to the Talk
we
Cars
have to
segment.
move on so desperately.
The Talk Cars segment is sponsored by the Jaguar S-Type and that Sting song Desert Rose that was in all the Jaguar S-Type commercials back in 2000. That's a rare sponsorship, but Sting wanted a song to get out there a little more. Do you remember that song?
I know the
Look
song,
it
I
up,
don't remember
folks.
the commercials.
He
What kind of Jag S-Type?
he was in the back of an S-Type driving through the desert.
One time I was in Italy and went with a friend to their sea house, and her dad drove a Jaguar S-Type diesel.
Wow, probably a 1.2 liter.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't fast, nor was it luxurious because it was an S-Type.
Well, listen, Sting was a part of it.
Yep.
A couple things we got to talk about in the Talk Car segment, but the most important is Filippo. Go ahead.
I think it's time to sell my station wagon.
That's huge.
I've owned it for 4-ish years.
Pull it up.
Bought it from a guy named Sam on Cars and Bids.
Bought it on Cars and Bits.
Yeah, not our friend Sam.
No, different Sam. He's my friend Sam. For $27,150, had 65,000 miles, something like that. Scroll down a little bit.
Yeah,
65.
How many miles you got now?
I'm at 119.
Wow, no way.
Yeah, we've driven it
You drove this car 55,000 miles.
in 4 years. Yeah. Given that we've also driven 17,000 miles in the car we bought 8 months ago, it's impressive. We haven't really.
I agree,
car
and
much.
there's another car.
Yeah. It's been such a great car.
Yeah.
It's been just exceptional in every way.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of things that are becoming real.
Yeah.
One is that it's a 11-year-old car with 118,000 miles.
Yeah.
If we're getting to like the cusp of I will need to start either investing time and energy and money into it, or just be kind of done with it.
Some would argue you already have, considering you spent
I had to.
$13,000.
There was some.
every year.
I spent $6,500. There was some rust issues. I had to get the brake line.
Talking about investing time and energy, don't you want to invest the same time that Sam invested in centering this photo into your car to carry on his legacy?
Right. I do legitimately. Like, this car's been excellent. Just we've owned it for so long. We don't really need a large station wagon. The GTI is so competent for longer trips.
Yeah.
We never drive it.
So you're going to get rid of the
It's
wagon and
parked on our
not the
street.
500 a Barth?
No, both are getting gone. The 500 Barth is mentally gone in my head.
You drove it yesterday. I saw you.
I drove
It's
it here today.
Oh my God.
Well,
It's mentally gone in his head, except for the fact that he's using it to commute.
So basically, he just materialized here today. There's between his house and here, no.
This car sits on my block for the vast majority of the time. One time I got hit while it was sitting on my block.
So you don't drive this
Nothing
anymore
done.
when you're going to Arizona?
It depends. We drive the GTI more often than we drive this.
Filippo's got a family situation in Arizona,
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've
he
driven to Arizona a lot.
in West Texas. But you know,
West Texas,
you
indeed.
think of
It's true.
Filippo, and you see Filippo, and you're like, oh, Filippo, the European. No, dude,
Yeah.
he's Arizona, West Texas.
Okay, we go to El Paso with some frequency. We'll go there in a couple weeks, which is wonderful. But historically, we've taken this station wagon, which is wonderful because you can fit everything
Yeah.
you could possibly need. We usually carry things back.
But does
for
the
some family or
GTI
another.
have, the GTI doesn't have that capability? So when
It's
you
not quite as big. So we have
Yeah.
we have to decide, can we do that?
how about
with
you
a
sell
smaller
all
car?
three and get
I've-
two great cars?
You know, I've thought about it. My wife, though, loving as she is, has said that we can't get entirely different cars. We have to like stagger.
You know, not a lot of thought went into your car purchases, though. Like they just sort of happened.
Yeah.
And I think that
No, that's true.
They all did just kind
I
of.
think that like if you wanted to sit down and like really put pen to paper and like think through this,
I was
you'd
really
be in better
considering
shape.
an Audi E6 e-tron Sportback because $400 a month lease.
Okay, but again, this is
And-
another one
and-
that's just going to happen.
No, this car's so good. I will be sad to lose it, but we just don't use it enough anymore.
So
Because the
if you-
GTI is so
The problem is he's been talking about selling his 500 a Barth for a year. So
I
he
haven't-
started the conversation about this car. So that means come spring of 27, this thing is gone.
I'll be buckled in tight.
No, I get it. I think it just we don't use it enough anymore to make it. Now we drove it 1,000 miles last week, but that's different. I don't know, man.
Why is that different? Why did you drive it last time?
Because we needed to carry a lot of stuff.
Well,
to
there you
Arizona.
go. So you
Right.
need something that has
But
some
like,
space.
could we rent a car for the 1 or 2
No,
times a year
that's
we do that?
insane.
The issue with this car is that I think it's worth, call it $15,000. Has 120,000 miles. Has been 2 accidents, well, including the time I got hit in front of our house. It just isn't worth that much anymore. And
What
it's a
do you
great car
think?
for $15,000.
Yeah.
So do I want to just keep it? I don't
Well,
know.
no,
Maybe.
because I do think you're going to start running into some challenges with maintenance and
Sorry,
repairs.
second owner.
Aging
third,
Mercedes-Benz.
fifth owner on Cars and Bids.
What do you think Buffy Wicks would think about this car?
She'd be into it. She lives in Berkeley.
Yeah. I think she's in Oakland, but same.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, obviously, Kennan and I are supportive, but neither of us think this is going to happen. Speaking of things that's not going to happen, Kennan, tell us about your Dodge Viper experience.
Yes. So I recently borrowed a Dodge Viper 2005 SRT10, the third gen.
Third gen.
Yes. One of our investors in Cars and Bids is selling it on the site. You're going to do a review of it relatively soon. And
Is the third gen agreed to be the worst Viper?
most people say that it is, which is why I was curious to drive it. Now, I went
Steve.
into it with that. That was the Viper I remember as a kid. That came out like when I was getting into cars. So when I think Viper, that's still kind of the Viper I think of. But I have to say, I loved it. Like, it is so crude and poorly built, and not a lot of thought went into design at all. You know, you're constantly getting cooked partially by the transmission tunnel, partially by the exhaust. It becomes so hot that the dead pedal you can't touch with bare feet, which you need to do because the pedal box is too tight to wear shoes. Like, but it's awesome. It's the kind of lunacy I want. However, I will say it is slightly more refined than the first gen, which of course this car has a top that goes with the car, you know, which is nice. You don't have to zipper it up. It has door handles, electronically actuated, which is a big deal for
got
that
air conditioning.
car. It's got, well, the first gens did get air conditioning in 1993, but it also has it has airbags,
Doors that lock.
doors that lock, windows
A lot
that are
of
power, windows. So it's got a lot of modern luxuries and amenities by Viper standards. But the things I like about it is that it's just an 8.3 liter NA V10, a 6-speed manual transmission, and it has a fear factor because you just constantly respect. You know that there's a chance that it goes
scared.
wrong, and because there's no traction control, no stability control.
You know,
you're it.
The biggest engine car Filippo's ever driven, 3.5 liter V6. Meanwhile,
more
he's
than
driving
twice.
around on an
That's not
8.3 liter
But
V10.
I will drive that car this week at Steve's request.
You will?
You're gonna hate
I
it.
will.
You
And
will
I'm
absolutely
excited for
hate
it.
the car.
That is the biggest displacement engine I will ever have driven. Yeah.
Well, that's like the biggest displacement
Correct.
engine. That's it.
No. Ken and I were talking
Like
about this.
500 cubic inches.
Ken and I were talking about this. Like, nah, I've been in a bunch of pre-war things. That was at 15 liters.
25 liters, but it is a big.
He's driven
No,
25.
he's driven it. He's been in it.
What is it? What does the cylinder look like in a 25 liter? Is it a big? It's just like
No,
actually just a
my
bunch of
point.
oil
There are
drops
pre-war
connected.
cars that 8.3 is not a huge displacement for a lot of those cars, but for modern cars it is. But nonetheless, my point with it is like I think I wanted to drive that because I've always been curious about those cars.
Yeah.
But also I was curious if that would attract me still to the first gen, which I think it does. I like the way the first gen looks. I underscore that AC is a must in the first gen because if it's hot in that car with AC on, you need it.
Can I make a suggestion?
Top down.
What about a third gen? Pull up third gen.
Third gens are great values.
It's like 03 to 08, I think.
Yeah.
Ish, not 09.
Yeah, I'll adjust the years. I think
We sell them pretty regularly,
do.
and not 1912, which
Not
for some
1912.
reason we have on our list there.
You never know.
that's where it belongs.
You never know, Filippo says.
No.
You never know. I do know, actually, Filippo.
So kind of
All right.
give us an idea. But yeah,
Oh.
they sell for like
These are pretty affordable.
affordable. And it being
24. This black one's 24. The previous one was 38. These are the most recent sales. 47, 58, but that's a Mamba with only 10,000 miles. I mean, that's the
a
nicest
really
one that
nice
exists. One owner, 10,000 mile Mamba. Even that's only a 60 car.
Can you explain to me the difference between the third and the fourth gens?
Yeah, there's a significant difference.
Yeah, one of them I know is a hardtop, but still.
The difference between the third and the fourth gens is the.
yeah.
exactly. He said it.
I've never personally. I think there were 3 Viper gens.
Whoa. You're looking the first two together?
The first 2 are the same gen, and I understand and by the way, I owned a second gen, which in my opinion was a first gen. I know they came with a coupe in '96, but like it's the same car. It was a facelift, and they added a coupe. Okay, that's
Somebody added windows, so yeah.
That's part of a facelift. Sometimes you add windows.
Sometimes you had windows.
Eventually, the YJ is facelift that add windows. You know what I mean?
I'm not.
Why don't you get one of
I'm not
these?
opposed to it because I really enjoyed it. It had a surprisingly good sound system. Like it was. I drove it in all conditions. I drove it on Twisty Roads to Cars and Coffee. I drove it
Rain,
in traffic.
snow.
Didn't drive it. Well, I drove it in all San Diegan conditions.
Scroll down.
And I have to say, the people's response to the car was incredibly, that's a very good value. It was incredibly positive. It was the only one at Cars and Coffee. People were all over it. I constantly drove around, people were going, whoa, Viper. Like you just,
Yeah.
It
which
is
was cool.
pretty cool.
And I
think this
enjoyed
is cool?
driving it.
No, I think it's cool.
What the third gen specifically? I'm looking at it in a new light now. I will say there's a lot of C7 in this part of it.
But that came after. This was much
That's
earlier
true.
than the C7. So you can't help that, people stole this great design.
Little C6 when you really. I think
Well,
that
it was the
also came
competition.
after though.
Yes.
Do you
it did.
like it more because it was in Too Fast, Too Furious?
Was it?
Yeah.
I never watched any of those movies,
Wow.
to be clear.
You never seen the first one?
I saw the first one.
The third one?
I'm saying. No.
You should watch
Just the
2.
first one.
The
You
fifth
should watch 2. There's some famous lines
There
in
are.
2, like in 1. But other than that, I don't think any of the
3
rest
is
of them.
important.
3 is important.
5
it goes
is
a little
important.
off message. After 3, it's over. But 1 is
One is- one I've
in
seen.
my opinion, the greatest car movie of all time.
One I have seen a number of.
You think I'm wrong? What do you think? Gone in 60 seconds? Bullet? Give me a break.
Gone in 60 seconds.
Okay. We have.
But I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yes. But I very much enjoyed it, and so I don't know. It's certainly on my radar. But
It's on your radar, just like selling at a Barth is on his radar. You know, at least I'm willing to admit that I'm not buying cars.
Look,
I'm not going to buy anything anytime soon. But it's something
I'm ready to sell my Fiat, but then I was told by a producer that I had to wait, and so I'm waiting.
Sell the Fiat, sell the wagon, sell the GTI. Here's what you do. I'm serious. These are the two cars
I
you
think
get.
I'm at 40 if I do all that.
What's an e-tron GT lease at?
Too much.
Too much for you?
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
trying to be at? What,
Zero would be nice.
Sir, what payment are you? Well, yeah, but like you want an EV with like a crazy deal.
Maybe. I've thought of. Wait.
He
No,
is-
I want to go down this road. I've thought a lot about this because I do kind of want an EV. I think an EV would fit my lifestyle.
He's not going to buy
as well.
anything.
I know,
But
but you
the whole
should.
point of
But
EVs is you lease them. And,
But there's not that many EVs yet that use Tesla supercharger. There's a few. The Ioniq 5 is one. My wife thinks it's hideous.
wait, that use Tesla supercharging? or
That
just-
have access to the supercharger network and the right plug directly to maximize speeds.
don't they all have the Tesla plug now?
No,
not
they're
for the
mostly
supercharger.
coming out.
But what do you care? Super.
Because the only way this works is when we go to Arizona, which is a little bit too far, we can stop and charge a Tesla supercharger.
Where's the supercharger? Yuma?
Yuma.
Damn.
Correct.
I'd rather not stop. I'd rather.
No, well, we stop anyways.
Stop anyway.
The Audi products, the A6 and Q6 e-tron, which are cheap to lease.
Q6
nobody
e-tron, I
wants
think,
them.
is an excellent car.
But they don't have that yet. They, in theory, were supposed to by this fall, but don't. They originally said that they would all have NACS for it.
they don't have NACS at all.
There's an adapter that Audi will come out with this fall or winter.
An adapter for the existing cars.
Yeah. But like what? So that makes it harder. Rivian 2026 does have access, but too expensive for me for now.
What about the Vistic?
We recently started hosting in-person events. Come to some, by the way. And honestly, selling merch could have been a nightmare. Hosting the Trackside Cars and Coffee was a load of new logistical challenges for the entire Cars and Bits team. But Square made it super easy. Taking payments was smooth, fast, and way less stressful, so I could actually focus on talking with people instead of fumbling with transactions. Today's episode is brought to you by Square. Smart, streamlined tools that make running your business simple, because the right tools make all the difference. What I love about Square is how intuitive it is. There's no steep learning curve, no tech headaches, and whether you're selling shirts at an event, running a coffee shop, or managing a boutique, Square just works. It's all in one. There's payments, sales, tracking, inventory, and even payroll if you need it. Square keeps up so you don't have to slow down. Get everything you need to run and grow your business without any long-term commitments. And why wait? Right now, you can get up to $200 off Square hardware at square.com/go/carpod. That's SQUARE.com/GO/carpod. Run your business smarter with Square. Get started today.
Okay, I want to talk about.
yeah.
I want to talk about three other things, and I'm going to go fast through them. Number one, YouTube channel hit 5 million subscribers.
Yes, it did.
Congratulations. That's a huge.
We're only a month in.
Number two,
I'm not even gonna. I don't have a chance to get over to it. But congratulations.
Number two, that was big. That was a
That's
big,
big.
thing that happened. 5
Congratulations.
million. And you know what's the best about hitting 5 million? I don't think we'll ever hit 6.
Wow.
We definitely won't hit 10. No, the best thing about 5. Oh yeah, there we are. 5 million subscribers.
Look at that. 2,000 videos or 2,000 something.
Okay, so the best thing about hitting 5 is that we were at 4.9 for so long. It was like kind of like how many subscribers you got? Oh yeah, 5. But I was lying.
Yeah.
Now I'm truthing.
Yes, now you're truthing.
Truthing. Okay,
How many views do you think you've had in that time? I have the number in front of me.
2.2 billion.
2.26 billion.
I've
yes.
always felt that the number of views is way more exciting than the number of subs. Like, I don't care that much that we have 5 million subs. 2 billion views is so real.
302 million hours.
Right, because not all of the subscribers are watching all the time, but the views are. People saw it.
Do you think Trump has watched one of my videos?
Yeah.
Do you think Yannick Sinner has?
Oh, Yannick certainly has.
He's
He
in
has-
the car.
He's got an A12, maybe.
Yeah, no, he
Comp,
does.
yeah.
Do you think that
Joe Biden has.
Joe Biden, you think?
I mean,
Oh,
You think he uses YouTube? See, I think that's the thing. I think to the extent that these people use YouTube, maybe I always think about this, like who's out there, who is watching. Like, remember when I met Seinfeld and I walked up to him and he said, "I watch all your videos," and I was terrified.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Like,
I
who
watch
else
all your
could that be?
videos. Yeah, exactly.
It could be a lot of people. Okay, next topic I want to discuss. Speaking of YouTube, is Throttle House.
yeah.
Like 6 months ago, we had this big report that Throttle House was Top Gear or something. What happened to that? Where's that?
Well, I think it takes time to then put out the content after the announcement.
I'm ready.
I am ready. I wonder
Have you
when.
texted Thomas and James?
I could text them, but I want to make a point of it on the pod to try to get people to.
Yeah.
Thomas and James aren't the issue. There's all this staff. There's all these
this
contracts.
production.
It's production.
Oh.
I'm ready. I'm telling you right now. I'm ready.
Production's so slow.
I want to see Thomas and
Cement
James.
shoes.
What have they been reviewing lately? Pull that.
Some good stuff. They've also sold 2 cars on Cars and Bids
They
in the
just
last
sold
month.
2 cars on Cars
Yeah.
and Bits. Did they bring money?
Yeah, they will.
I saw them a couple days before they sold the cars, and it seemed like they were already over
Yeah,
where
really
they
good.
should have
They did an LC500 and a 911 video.
been. Pull up. What do we got?
Ooh,
Okay.
9 months ago. They've
All
been
right.
putting out a little bit less
LC
content.
Okay, so they're doing some comparisons. I noticed they're doing less content.
Probably
Is that
they're
because of the
filming
Top
Grand
Gear
Tour.
thing?
Grand Tour, yeah.
Is it Grand Tour?
Yeah.
Ah, darn, I thought it was. What's Top Gear? Is that over?
They're dead. That's dead. They killed it.
Completely dead?
Completely over until someone reboots it in a couple of years.
So these
It's dead
guys
for
are
now.
Grand Tour,
Yes, alongside the train spotting guy.
supposedly.
Which will last for one season.
What else we got
if
here?
that.
There's an Ariel Atom. There's an S5. I haven't done the S5. These guys are killing it still.
Have you not done that 5? You have?
No, but they got one coming next week.
Oh, I'm so glad we're only 4 months behind.
We're 4 months behind. But dude, I had the RS6 Performance before they did. So take
Is
that,
that-
Thomas and/or James.
Is that factually accurate?
I don't think so. All right. Last thing I wanted to talk about is a couple of months ago. I realized this never came up with the pot.
What?
A couple of months ago, I ran my Ford GT into my house.
Yeah.
Not for the first time.
No, that was the first.
Oh, that was. I'm pretty sure you've done it. Even
I used to hit the front stuff in my garage. Like that was like it was pillows. I eventually put pillows there to stop hitting stuff. But I ran my Ford GT into my house.
Your garage, really.
Well, I don't know.
But like the,
I don't know that it makes that much of a difference.
But the
But the
dwelling.
exterior.
The
Like it
dwelling.
wasn't like I drove too far in.
what part of the car was the nose?
Nose, which on that
What
car
part
is
of you
pointing.
think?
Well, he could have backed in.
You know what also has happened? You have hit my garage.
You know what? So if you got a garage,
Well,
look out. Doug's coming
Doug
for you.
will come
That
and
was
hit
your
it.
garage door.
Yes.
But in this case, it was
I
just
consider
part of
that
the building.
structural. It's
Like
not,
I
but-
hit an exterior part of the building. Ran into it with my Ford GT. And you know what happened?
Nothing.
Sean's going to be mad because we could have turned this into a promo. You know what happened? I got the whole car PPF'd, the paint protection film, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like the PPF was damaged, but then I took it to Kevin, our boy at Elite Finish, Miramar Road or whatever, Kennemar Drive.
Nice. Well done. Pulled that out.
Miramar, Kennemar.
Kind of more.
And they fixed it and there was no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the
Congratulations.
beauty of PPF.
Hey, Kennan.
I knew that PPF could stop me from like rocks flying up, but I ran into a house.
Yep.
Slowly.
I
Do you-
once scraped a 599 at the exotic car dealership I worked at. There were a lot of poles, and so we bring guide, and I just barely but it was a little tiny piece of PPF. We just cut it. No damage to the paint. It is nice in those situations, so it's rare that happens.
I was going to just leave it too because I don't care. But then I realized I hit the house once
you gonna do it again?
and then I almost did the other day. That's why I brought this back.
It's nice to be the one person on this podcast that's never run into a garage.
All right.
Wait, you will.
I want to
You
do the
will.
market report. The market report this week is sponsored by the Lincoln LS, which was the companion vehicle to the Jaguar S-Type that
Yeah.
Sting revealed for us in the Desert
and-
Rose music video.
And V8, available with the V8, available with the manual.
But not in conjunction.
I didn't say that was available with the V8 manual. So it was available with the V8 and available with the...
That's correct. Yeah.
And it is a car that Kennan would have if he were still in Ohio.
My grandfather had one. It was a lovely car.
Okay. What I want to talk about is the 991, the market report. We don't have any market reports here. The only market report we got to cover is the 991, which is good because there's actually great questions this week, some of which are for you.
Really?
The 991 is God. Okay, I'm
up.
gonna espouse a theory on the pod today. It's September something or other. I don't know when this goes live, but I'm gonna espouse a theory on the pod today. The 991 is the 993 of the modern 911, meaning the 993 is considered best of breed, the best air cooled. They sell for crazy money, even though they're slow. It is the one everybody wants. The 991 is
Dot
that for
one.
the modern era. Dot one mostly. What do you not think I'm right?
So 997 is the correct.
No,
It's a 997.
the market doesn't agree with you. I agree with you. I think the 997 is a godly automobile. However, the market thinks it's a little weird looking. The point twos are pretty hard to find, and nobody likes the interior except me. 997 interior, I think, was like the last purposey Porsche interior. Flat bar across.
These people don't like that. They're half of them are turbocharged and half of them aren't. People hate that push pull bolt
Well, yeah, but
bolt
let me
steering
only
wheel.
talk about manuals.
Let me tell
Obviously.
you something.
What?
Yeah,
Manual
I'm
only.
talking manual because
manual.
well, I'm not only talking manuals, but what's become clear to me is that the market is going to prize the 991.1 manual in a crazy way. This red one, let's
red
keep
one,
the
yeah.
autos up. This red one, this is a $74,000 car. The sticker on this car
That is a strong
102?
value for a base.
This is an 8-year-old base model with base wheels, base interior.
No options, basically,
Go back
yeah.
to the thing. Go back to the rest of them. There's a ton of these like this. That 13, that's a 13. That's a 13-year-old
For sure.
automobile that sold for $67,000 with some miles on it.
Also relatively low spec.
The market already is pricing these cars. If you have a 991.1 or any 991, because honestly, it's
true for the
dot ones and dot
I think
twos.
that dot one might become it's NA.
Yeah,
I think that might.
The NA is going to help, and I do think that the market feels that the 992, wonderful though it is, became when all is said and done, and people are fighting about it on Renlist in 15 years, they're going to say that the 992 is where it's switched from being a sports car to more of a luxury touring car.
Here's
as great as the 992 is, and by the way, I'm not referring to the GT cars; they have their own world. I'm talking about reggies.
My disagreement is I mostly agree with you. I think it is the end of an era, especially before it went to a 3-liter twin turbo for everything.
By the way, I'm not saying this. I feel this way. I'm saying I think the market feels this way.
I'm feeling that the 997.2, because it's relatively rare, and because the 991 went to electronic power steering instead of hydraulic, I think the 997.2s will become the most prized of all.
I don't. I think it's like 964 and 993. A lot of enthusiasts love the 964, but the market congealed around the
maybe.
993. And a lot of people will argue for you that the 964 is the one, but the 993 really is the one that like became the thing. And I think that's what's going to happen here. And also 997.2s, they're rare. There are a lot of automatics.
You're right. They don't have quite the value differentiation. Although an 09 Carrera S for 67, which is the same price,
They
as
sell for
that,
big money.
They're still worth actual.
They sell for big money. But we're talking about a Carrera 4S here. As
Yeah.
opposed to, we just looked at a basey
That's 7 years
baserson.
newer and also lower mile. Could we open that 09?
We
It's
looked
at least 50,000 miles.
that
Like 60,000 miles.
That red 991 was a Nicki Minaj
Yeah, it was base.
super
I agree.
base.
I agree.
And it is still pulling
I agree.
73.5.
And it was probably a 110 sticker.
Only because it is a manual, last of the breed. They don't care that it's Nicki Minaj. They don't care that it's a beige interior.
That'd
like
be super base for those that don't know.
super bass, dude. Boom, ba boom, 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 bass.
Wow, this one had an 88 sticker.
88 stick. Pull, what, it sold for 73?
Yeah.
74. This car lost $14,000 in appreciation in 10 years. That's nuts. It's lost 15%. I mean, that's nothing. You just went and drove the car for free. That's crazy. 991. 991 is market god. Mark my words.
I should buy one.
You probably should. You won't lose any money.
I think that's
The
true.
problem is you will never spend
that kind of money.
I know.
And this is the problem with Filippo. He only thinks about entry price, doesn't think about TCO.
I love the 991. First 911 I ever drove. Brand new when it came out. 991 Carrera S.
I have a hard time respecting the 991 because I worked for Porsche when it came out. And like I knew how dysfunctional the organization was. So like to me, it's just like, I don't know.
When it was the 993 era, you just didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know. So
It was
like
more dysfunctional.
It was
but-
probably worse.
They almost went under
They
during
were
that era.
headquartered in Reno. Did you know that?
I did.
Porsche
Oh,
was
that's
headquartered
right.
in Reno.
Because the
before
Germans
Atlanta.
wanted to get out of the rain.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And
I'm
out of
sure there
Reno.
were significant tax incentives involved. Okay, you have an L405 thing. Then we got to get onto the thing.
Yes. So the L405 is one of my favorite Range Rovers. I think
Yes.
they look phenomenal. But
This is the
one's-
range that was sold from 13 to like 20.
This one, this looks rich. If I saw this blue with the silver,
Yeah.
get out of the way. Sold for 19.1.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
crazy.
I'll split it with you
inexpensive.
guys.
Now I understand, like Range Rovers don't have the best reputation in terms of reliability.
Yeah, I mean,
But still,
How many
like,
miles does this have?
This one had 83,000.
You know,
but
Range Rovers don't have the best rep, but these
at the-
L405 seem to be coming in with miles.
I
they
don't
seem
know.
to come with miles, and look, I mean,
Yeah,
everything
hold on.
looks nice still in this car. So, like, I think that's an unbelievably...
And it's a V8.
And it's a V8, a supercharged one. I think that is an inexpensive way to look very wealthy, and it still looks really, really good.
Yeah, I agree.
There's one in this building that we're in that we see occasionally, this exact spec, and every time I see it, I go,
good.
damn.
It's aged well.
Why don't I own that?
It's aged well.
Because
Why don't you
I
own
don't want
it?
to deal with maintenance. But
You're not going to own a
our-
Range Rover.
Right,
Somebody that-
991 in a Range Rover. Get out of here.
Every car that comes up, hey, Carrera GT.
Our friend Dan just had an issue, and he's going to sell his because
Friend?
Our friend and CEO.
Our friend CEO Dan just had an issue because
That's who he is in our
the
life.
shifter wouldn't go up.
Well, sometimes stuff breaks, but the
mean,
car is getting older.
But Dan likes to work on cars.
Go back.
Yeah. Tinker, that was a treat.
Go back. I'm curious what the what the mileages are on some of them.
That's what they all cost.
But yeah, well,
That was
that's what
actually
I'm
a
curious
strong
about.
No, but I mean, like
Somehow.
17.5. Click on that one. I actually prefer the short wheelbase. I think it looks
81,000.
82,000.
But again,
High miles.
to your point, they come in with miles.
Sort by mileage. Highest miles first.
Oh wow, we can do that. Oh wow,
Yeah, absolutely, we can. Let's see.
these are some sport
Autobiography. Yeah,
220. This is a pre-body.
L322,
This is an
yeah.
L322. There you
Why
go.
is the labels an
Click on
L4?
that guy.
Oh,
27.5 with 165,000 miles.
wow.
Wow. I mean,
I wouldn't necessarily say that it's indicative that it can do that, but some of them have.
some of them have.
At least one has.
This one, this
133 in
132.
Georgia, and that's a big boy.
Yeah.
And it sold for
Big boy.
19. I don't know. I agree with you. It's pretty amazing what these sell for, considering how they look. This car has not aged into looking like a used, like baller on a budget used car thing yet.
No,
there are still legit people driving these.
Yeah, absolutely. If I saw that parked outside of any, I mean, pretty much. Yeah, look at that.
The early years with those wheels, I felt those wheels were the best wheel they ever.
Really?
The early years with those wheels, I still think are just like some of the most beautiful SUVs.
Flower petal looking.
That's a
yeah.
You don't like that?
No.
Silver isn't the color I'd get, but I would get something with silver side
Silver
blade.
bar. Yeah, I
The side
think
blade,
that's
yes. The wheels, less so.
I've been using Delete Me for years now, and I'm still just as grateful for it today as I was the day I signed up. They've been a great supporter of my channel and my privacy. The first time I saw my personal info online, my name, old phone number, addresses, even family details, it was on dozens of sites. As someone who's pretty visible online, I've had to deal with weird stuff, random emails, odd messages, people digging too deeply. That's why I take privacy seriously, and why Delete Me is a core part of how I protect myself and my family. Delete Me is a subscription service that removes your personal information from hundreds of data broker sites. You give them your info once and they go to work, sending personalized reports every few months to show exactly what they've removed. They keep monitoring so it doesn't come right back. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me now with a special discount for our listeners. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/DeMuro and use promo code DeMuro at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/DeMuro and enter code DeMuro at checkout. Support this car pod and your privacy. That's joindeleteme.com/DeMuro, code DeMuro. Okay, we got to move on to the questions. The questions are brought to you by Cars and Bids.
Thank you.
Cars and Bids is the greatest place where you can buy, sell, or trade cars. Filippo hates when I say trade.
Yes, because you buy
can't trade. You can buy or sell, people.
Thank you.
Well, look at what we got right now on the site. We got a McLaren. We got this giant thing. We got a Super Trofeo Stradale, the other STS. There's great stuff. Anyway, Cars and Bids. To find out more about Cars and Bids, go to carsandbids.com.
Thank
Yes,
you. Yeah.
and there will be a post in the community tab where you can ask.
Well,
us
okay, that's the
questions.
question. So now we have questions, community tab.
But before we jump into questions,
Oh, wow. Okay, what do we got?
recently a couple of viewers sent us some gifts, which
Okay.
I thought were very nice. They sent us notes as well, but I'm going to show the gifts mostly. So this is a road and track with the entire Ferrari lineup from 1997.
Wow.
So F50, 456, 550 Maranello, and 355 Spider.
The F50, the 550, the 355,
550, yes.
and the 456 GTA.
Yeah, GT.
Whoa!
Don't insult the 456. God will punish you.
Oh, look, Filippo, first drive
QX4.
QX4.
Oh, it gets better. If you flip through some of the concept cars, they had premiered the, it was the multiple, the first gen multiple is in there.
The last
97,
sentence
yeah.
of this first drive says, the QX4 will win people over with a heady mix of overall comfort and driveline sophistication. Folks, it didn't.
Also, same engine as a Pathfinder. Same drivetrain as a Pathfinder.
That's so true. Wow, this is cool. Why was this sent to us? Somebody thought we would appreciate this?
Yes,
we do.
A listener named Tim from Washington sent us this, and he just was appreciative and wanted to, because he knew we
so
appreciated the Ferrari lineup at that time. I think even Filippo would, and we wanted to send
always
us.
do. I love that
SLK,
currently.
SLK 230 is new. Legacy 2.5 GT.
Wow, which gen?
Oh, wow. And this article, written by the same guy who did the QX4, Andrew Bornhop, says, my personal list of favorite sports sedans has just grown by one. There was one of these outside the office today. Did you see? It was a
No.
wagon. 2.5 GT, right?
Wow.
Wow.
Well, this is great.
There's also an ad on the back.
Yeah, Q45.
This
back
is
cover.
good stuff.
Some good
Oh
cigarette
my God!
ads. Don't tear it. Be gentle with things.
1956 meets 2001. Porsche Boxster. And you know what happened? Now it's an electric.
Well, now it's not.
How we've fallen. But that's not the only gift that was sent in.
Wow.
Another gift was sent in specifically for you. And I'm going to handle this because it's fragile.
Oh, he thinks I
And
won't
given
be
what happened in the magazine, we will not let you touch it.
And I think you're going to break it. This comes from Steven. He said that he said a note that he said, hello, this was on his desk for many years, and he thought it was time for a new home. And he wanted to thank you for years of quirks and features. And here's a little plinth.
Yeah, you can hold that.
And be careful with this. But here is a crystal.
This is great.
God, don't, jeez, don't do
Wow,
that.
this is a Lamborghini Countach.
It's a Countach.
I
It's a
got
crystal
one of these.
Countach. You have
Wow.
a crystal Countach?
No, I got a real one. I got the real one.
Oh,
I don't know.
my
The crystal one's
mistake.
cooler.
Made of metal.
You're
and
gonna
such.
break that wing. I am so afraid. I am so afraid.
Wow, this is really cool.
Isn't that neat?
What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take it home and keep it away from Kennan, who will probably break it.
No.
Look at this. Crystal Lamborghini Countach.
He's holding. No, he's holding it with like.
This is as good as it gets.
Somebody
No,
come to Kennan.
please. Oh
Somebody
my
come to Kennan.
God. don't.
Kennan, I'm a careful person.
Yeah, I remember what happened with your Courier GT engine model.
I got
You
another one.
he
And
hit
a VHS tape.
He held it for 30 seconds, and I heard smash in the other room, and I just heard maniacal laughing from him, and it was
Well,
he
it's
dropped it. and
it's a
broke.
great story. We're still telling it.
I still have to fix that, by the way.
No, I got another one and the VHS tape.
Well, but I'll fix
At
them.
some point, I got some money somehow. Like I overpaid my taxes and I got some big refund. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy a Courier GT.
But how cool is it? Even like the seat? Like if you look at
Yeah.
the seats, they're like correct.
I know it is. It looks like a low body car.
It definitely is a low body car.
But we're gonna claim it's a 5-liter. That is
Yeah.
really cool. I love that. And we're not gonna put it in the pod decoration. I'm gonna take that home personally and lick it whenever I want to.
Please, ugh.
Okay, we got to talk questions. We got to do questions. This is beautiful. We'll leave it here for just the day,
That's a good idea.
but then I'm taking it home.
Okay. But thank you for sending those, and that's very kind of you guys to do that.
Yeah, I really like. I'm gonna read this QX4 review later and
Yeah, you should.
decide
Ooh, a Dodge
whether
Dakota ad.
decide whether I want to get into a QX4.
about
Okay,
finding one?
first question. From F40RCK5. It's September. Who else is surprised that Doug kept to his promise of buying 0 cars, or are we about to be hit by the biggest Doug Sember yet? Are you surprised that I haven't bought a car?
No.
We do have a car coming.
No.
It's a surprise.
We haven't announced it yet.
Yeah, it's a surprise.
I was going to just smirk to the camera instead.
But it's not necessarily me buying a car. Are you surprised that I haven't bought a car?
No.
What about you?
No, the A class taught us all we needed to know about you buying cars,
Yeah.
like silly cars. Unless it's something of note that you like want to further your collection of cars with, you're not going to buy it, and even then you're happy with the 3 you have.
By the way,
Notable
he
cars.
owns more than 3 cars.
There's 3 notable cars. Thank you for correcting me, but the
You don't
3,
think-
the Courier GT, the Countach, and the Ford
Some
GT are
of
what
us
I'm
call
talking
it
about.
G-Wagon
G500
isn't notable?
notable.
Oh my God. The people in Austria, dude,
And Graz. I apologize to the
what
town of
Austria
Graz.
has is Mozart and the G-Wagon.
And Vienna, there are many more classical composers that.
Well, there's
I
more
can't go
cars
into
that
this.
came out of Graz, like the Supra, but we're not going to talk about them.
That's true.
The
heightened
Neither
here.
of you are surprised, even though you always profess to.
No, because I never. He
What do I-
constantly talks about cars he wants, and then he seldom buys one.
What do
I rarely
profess
talk
to?
about cars that I want.
What do I
All the
profess
time.
to? I think you should not buy other cars.
We're done. I just have realized these are the cars that I want, and they seem to be great. And at this life stage with little children, we're teaching them to swim. You ever teach a kid to swim? A lot of water goes in your mouth. I don't have time for cars. All right, more cars. I have enough.
But no, I do not think that come the end of the year you will purchase a vehicle.
Or next year.
Well,
Okay. Next, what am I going to get? What am I going to get? An F50?
Yeah.
if you could, you
A
would.
456 GTA?
Yeah, you could.
If I could, I would.
You could. 456 GTA, you get that for 45. I bet we could buy one.
All right, from Coop R, are there any plans for a Cars and Bids Android app? The website's
that's a
great,
question
but
for
an app
Filippo.
would be really nice to have.
Let me give you the
Filippo?
corporate answer, then give you the real answer.
Give us the corporate answer. We like that.
We're constantly evaluating whether or not to fill in. We started out. We have an iOS app that has gotten really phenomenal response and reviews, and we started with that based on where most of our users are. The percentage of our users that are on an iPhone is much higher than the percentage that are on Android phones, which is true in the US.
What
in
percentage?
general.
Like what percentage?
I don't remember offhand.
Give
I don't want to give
me a Bali.
of mobile, something like 65 to 70% was
So you're
iOS.
turning your back on 35% of our users,
No,
including
no,
Kubar.
the other part of that answer is that we designed from the beginning the mobile experience. So when you go to it in Chrome, Safari, Opera, whatever your web browser of choice, the experience is a really phenomenal one, right? So the app was meant to be additive and was a test of whether we could make it enough of a differentiated and great experience to be worth it. And starting with the platform where we have the most users,
Okay.
was
Are we
obviously
going to have the app or not?
maybe in the future.
Okay. So we
So could've
didn't
some-
get us anywhere, really. I can't believe you're turning your back on 30% of our users. Poor users.
35%.
I want to be an Android user again. I might.
If you
If
switch,
you, I swear to God.
The only reason I have an iPhone is that Doug peer pressured me years ago into getting one.
Okay,
Maybe it's time to go back.
next question. There's some good ones in here. I can't wait for some of these questions. Kennan's going to blow up in about 3 of them. Next question from Shotgun Sam 911. And by the way, 911 I think is a reference to the car and not the terrorist attack. Which east-west
Never forget.
Which east-west interstate in the U.S. provides the most enjoyable cross-country drive? What about the best north-south interstate? I've driven all the east-west interstates in the U.S. The most enjoyable is undoubtedly Interstate 70, which runs from the middle of nowhere in Utah to somewhere in Maryland. And the most beautiful part of the entire U.S. interstate system is the drive from the middle of Utah to Denver. However, through the Rocky Mountains and through the beautiful red rocks in eastern Utah. However, if you are driving for beauty, you should not be on an interstate highway. The interstates were built for expediency, truck transport, goods transport, and if you're like trying to get your dog to Nantucket real fast.
Yeah.
They are not built for people who want to see America. And so if you want a beautiful drive, you got to get on the US highways. You want to be on US 50 and you want to see America that way. Do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay.
Spot on correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't take an interstate, folks.
I mean, do because it's way more convenient.
This
but
is what we learned from Lightning McQueen. Radiator Springs,
That's
the
right.
interstate bypass. This is a car podcast. We're going to
talk about cars.
We're
Yeah.
going to talk cars.
Yeah.
The interstate bypassed Radiator Springs and Mater and all those people, Flo, they didn't have any people anymore.
That is the true story of Route 66 and many others.
Yeah, Route 66, so I've decided it's kind of BS.
Yeah.
The Route 66 was a U.S. highway. There are interstates, U.S. highways, state highways. There are
County roads.
thousands of U.S. highways. Do you know how many they decommissioned? That one. You can still have that experience if you want it.
Yeah, but it changed where people were driving through. So towns that were built on, we exist because people drive through here.
You
died.
can still have
Now,
the
there are
experience
other
of Route
towns.
66 on US 50, on US 40, and on many other US highways that still span across the country and still have stoplights as they go through various towns, including Radiator Springs.
And some parts of those are also the Honda Sound Road where you drive down it and it plays a song.
That is a thing somehow.
It's on one of the US highways.
Okay.
Okay.
You only like the Ferraris.
Next question. This is a good one.
Oh,
From Caliber ORP, rank all the Forerunners. I don't want to do the rankings much. The Forerunners I'll do.
all right.
First one best.
Okay.
New one best.
New one best.
Whoa.
New one best. That feels like a
wow. Okay,
tough
so
statement.
we're at 6 generations.
Are we? Okay, so there was the first one, the boxy one with the roof that came off. The second one was the middling one in the middle there.
Yeah.
The third one was the famous.
Yep.
The fourth one is the famous with the V8. The fifth one is the one that just ended that they sold $2 billion of.
Okay.
And the sixth one's brand new.
I will start this off. The third gen is the best gen.
I knew you were
No.
going to say third gen.
You know what? No.
And I'm
third
sorry,
gen. Third
sorry
gen,
to break it to you, but yeah.
I'm gonna posit something to you, and I want you to listen tight. The
Unlike
fifth
the
gen,
build construction of the
fifth gen will go down as the 993 of the Forerunner
The
world.
fifth. What? What?
Yeah. Right now, people like the third gen because they're $6,000 and
No, they're
durable. That will be the fifth gen.
I will say the fifth
and there will
gen-
be 10 times more fifth gens to buy.
The fifth gen is number 2 for me.
Fifth gen number 1 by far.
I will accept that because as long as you're not saying the sixth gen is
I'm
number one.
gonna say this. Not only is the fifth gen the greatest Forerunner of all time, it may be the greatest SUV ever made, with some small exceptions.
100 series Land Cruiser.
Yeah, 100 series might be an exception, but only some. Only 0607s.
What is
Maybe
your number-
0305s if there was a guy who owned one sitting here.
Oh, for 100 series. I was like, that's not a fifth gen. Okay. What is your number 2?
Number 1, fifth gen. Number 2, fourth gen. Number 3, third gen. Number 4, the current one. Number 5, the first one, and number 6, the second one, which everybody forgets about.
Okay.
That's the
That
line.
me
feels
a
about, yeah. Kind of.
Wow. I'm going to stick with number 1 being the third gen, number 2 being the fifth.
Okay. You got to say fourth for third. If you
Number
don't say fourth
3
for
is
third,
fourth.
it's in
Number
the
3 is
pot.
fourth.
Okay. Thank God.
Man, poor
I'm
second.
trying to remember the first one was the one that was basic, that was two-door.
It was a two-door boxy thing. You could pull the roof off. But dude, the new one is awesome.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put the new one
It has to be third.
fourth.
No.
The third is the fourth gen. The new one third, and then second is fifth, five, and first is sixth.
First is last. First has a following and it deserves it. You could pull the roof off. It was cool. It started
So
the world.
the second gen
It's a
objectively
pickup
deserves
truck
to be
with a cab cover.
Here's a question
It's
for you.
I'm standing by that. It's a pickup truck with a cab cover.
It basically was.
Right, the second gen is a real SUV.
Yeah, but that was
Real
part
or-
of the fun of the first gen. And ever since the first gen, they've always tried to go back to keep some of that magic. Here's a question for you. Do you think Toyota regrets naming, and Honda regrets naming the cars the 4Runner, the RAV4, and the CRV? Like in today's world where cars get named, they could have named it like the Passport, like they did, and the Pilot. But instead they called it the CRV, Comfortable Runabout Vehicle. You think they're like, damn, what were we thinking?
Well, that is a objectively stupid.
They didn't know
name.
it would take off. Like RAV4 is stupid.
4Runner I still kind of like.
4Runner 's
It's
pretty good.
active
Yeah,
and like
it
it
works.
fits. Yeah, I think any of those 4-wheel drive.
But don't you think if they could go back, knowing how popular the
All-wheel
RAV4 would one day be, they would have called it anything else?
No.
Okay. Next question. These start to become for Kennan and Filippo.
Okay.
From Over Leverage. Question for Kennan and Filippo. He's reading the question.
leverage?
Yeah, I gotta stop doing
Great username. Yes. get off
After
Slack.
owning, all right, you ready for this? This is going to hurt you. After owning a Rentec W211 E55 in Flint Gray,
Cool car.
how can you justify the price of a nice E39 M5? Great question, Over Leveraged.
Well, you want to shift your own gears. You want to put it in drive. I mean, come on. You may have a Rentec car. You still go.
Is that the only
in the
difference?
drive? No, one. I think there are a lot of reasons why you prefer the E39. I mean, the driving experience, the Rentec is awesome because AMG cars are great in that you just point them in a straight line, you put your foot. It's kind of an American approach to power. You just kind of go. Dynamically, I've never felt that they're that great. It's like, that said, I dream of having a 211 next to my E39. To have both is like the dream. The E39 is just regarded by enthusiasts because it combined a great number of things. Great naturally aspirated V8, manual transmission, rear wheel drive, great looks, all those things. So I think they're both
211 E55 is 469 horse.
well, the Rentec is he's probably putting 5 something to the ground, I'm sure.
Well, that's kind
but
of
it's modified. I mean, it's like,
Oh.
okay, great. You could modify
Wow.
an E39 to also put 600 horsepower to the ground.
Can you?
And then Apple's, everybody
Can
loves
you?
to say,
Do people?
Absolutely. The
Dynamo,
S3 put
yeah.
600 and
I will
with a
say
warranty from the
the
factory.
presupposition of this question is that
17.
they're like identical enough to be compared. But I agree the M5 is not only sportier, but because it's a manual,
Adds a lot to it.
there's just I mean, how drive any car? How do you justify the fact that a 250 TR is $25 million?
But I think that's pretty light for a 250 TR.
Like
But yeah,
at some
to your
point,
exactly. It's
There's like an intangible like I enjoy the driving experience of a manual car.
right. And
I don't
I'll say what you-
necessarily believe that M5 is a better handler than a 211.
I think that, I mean, neither are what you call super sharp. It was
No.
that era was
Yeah.
not. But I would say, in your words, the market speaks on what those
Yeah.
cars are worth, and there is a reason.
Yeah, so how can it be justified? Well, because more
It's the
people
market.
want the M5.
Yeah,
and they're
So
willing
it's
to
like-
pay more for it.
I understand in your world that might not be the case, and I agree the 211 is a
Awesome.
really cool,
And the
awesome
210.
car. Most complicated cup holder of all time. But I think that the market disagrees with that.
And the 210.
Not just me, the market.
Pull up a 210 E55. What are
210
those?
is
what a
We ever
such a
sell
cool
those
car.
anymore?
Yeah, but rarely. We sold so many for a while.
Oh man, on those blocks.
I don't like 99s, but look
know
at that.
you don't.
$9,000, 5,600.
Why don't we all own these?
Why don't you have one of these? Dude, one of the greatest cars I ever owned. I'm not kidding.
I don't
And it was
buy
super
automatic
reliable.
God, so he
you
said-
have an
I have
automatic.
a single automatic car.
991.
You know what you ought to do?
No, I didn't say yes to this.
You know what you ought to do? The facelift was in 2000. The wagons are legal.
Yeah.
That's the car.
Never liked the
I want one.
211
He doesn't
like the wagon.
The
Can
210
someone
wagon.
sell me a 2000
I-
211 E55
He says it's
wagon?
too long.
I've always
Yeah, but
felt
it's so practical. I agree
I've
it's
al-
ugly, but it is so practical.
I've always felt that the S212, so my generation E-Class, the trunk is too, like, stylistically, looks like they shrunk it a little bit too much. This, they extended it a little too much.
It's too long. I agree. However, it was
little tough.
incredibly practical.
Yeah, of course.
I could stick Kennan back there. I could stick 6 Kennans back there.
The
Okay.
standard unit of measure.
Next question from Mini Truck Matt. Hi, Doug, Kennan, and Filippo. I recently got a speeding ticket for 92 and a 65 in the middle of the Mojave Desert.
Good for you.
buddy.
This made me wonder, what is the worst place in the U.S. for car enthusiasts, either due to low speed limits or overly restrictive speed limits for the environment? Virginia. Virginia is the worst place in the United States for car enthusiasts.
As
without
Matt Hardiker,
question.
Travis Mikulski, Matt Hardiker, one of them.
People complain dearly about California and all of its draconian laws and all that, but I think that's only because California is big and a lot of this stuff gets publicity. People don't realize the sort of middling states can also have some real crazy stuff going down. Virginia is wild. It is the wildest of them all. It has radar detectors are banned.
Yep.
You have to have front and back plates. You have to have stickers on both front and back plates. You have to do safety inspection, and their speed laws are unreal. They have relaxed them a little bit, but not all that much. Virginia is the worst place to be a car enthusiast, and you have to pay an annual property tax on your cars that is astronomically high.
Yep. It is the Switzerland of the United States.
Except it isn't
In any other
good
way.
enough to
Yeah,
justify.
Yes. Yeah.
Can we discuss one underrated benefit of California? On interstate highways, only CHP can
Yeah,
pull you over.
what's that about?
Which is a great rule. So you drive into Arizona.
I passed a San Diego police car the other day flying. I was like, yeah, I don't think he's going to do it. Other
for what
people
it's
were
worth,
passing.
they can pull you
They
over.
can.
They just have to then wait for CHP to write a ticket, if memory serves. The upside to that is you then enter like Arizona, and there's police officers pulling you over
From every
in a
jurisdiction.
Ford Mustang GT that has no decals on the
I
side.
saw that.
Or like that was in Utah. Alex Penfolder. Somebody.
I have
like,
generally
that becomes
discovered-
unsafe.
As a person who drives cross country all the time, I have generally discovered that the conservative states tend to be more aggressive in their speed enforcement.
And generally, yeah.
Arizona is a scary state to speed in. They have a mandate from their populace to enforce laws. We like the cop, and so they go out there and they enforce laws. And like, if you are even thinking of speeding in
I mean,
Arizona,
I think it's a great irony that they want laws to be enforced, but they hate the government.
don't tread on me.
Right.
We're pro
So,
police.
Which is it?
The blue line sticker and a "Don't tread on me" flag. I'm just saying.
It's a tough. I think there's some cognitive dissonance not realized there, but
Can we discuss how hard it is to get pulled over in the Mojave Desert? There's a lot of roads and not that many.
that was
It's
just
a little weird.
That was just
It,
bad
like-
luck, I think.
Well, he's going 92 and a 65. I mean,
That's
dude,
speed of traffic.
I mean, honestly, out there, yeah, it is.
No, but you shouldn't do that. I don't condone speeding.
one thing that does
Legitimately.
annoy me about California is that 70 is the highest maximum speed, right? You go
Yeah.
out, I was on a speed limit 80 road. Texas
Yeah.
apparently has 85s.
There's local roads and parts of like the of Highway 10 through New Mexico are 75.
Oh, 75 is
Yeah.
I mean, when I drive
Yeah,
across country,
till you get to
when
the
you
coast.
hit the Arizona border, you're at 75 miles an hour speed limit until you get to Tennessee, Arkansas or Tennessee. You basically can go 75. So you just fly through those
70
states.
for most of that Arizona section, but yeah, it becomes 75 after you.
It's become 75 after Yuma, which is
Most
the
of it.
first
Yeah,
city.
all right. Point taken.
Okay,
Yep. But, another bad state speeding is Ohio. Ohio's a really
Ohio's always
they're
Kennan,
fourth-
how many times have you got pulled over for speeding there?
Only twice ever. Twice in I don't know. I've been driving. How old am I? 13 years.
You know that I've never received a speeding ticket?
Yet. You'll get it. You speed
No,
in
he doesn't
Arizona a lot.
speed. Okay, there's two more questions. Three more questions. Three more very quick. Three more questions. Three. One of them I didn't put on here, but someone asked, and I'm curious also to have the response. I don't know why I didn't paste it in the document. Kennan, what we know you're obsessed with the M5, etc. What cars have you owned before the M5?
First car was also an E39 525i, then the M5.
Guy
then I
loves the
had-
platform.
Yeah, I do love the
So
platform.
he said the E39 was the first car. The M5 was his second car.
Yeah, I went from the most base model to the big boy. Then I had an E46 330xi, which is a great daily. Then I had an E36 M3, then a Ferrari 355, and that's where I am now.
Do you think eventually you'll experience a different chassis like an E60?
No,
F10
No,
maybe?
I'm over. No, I don't want that. I don't need that in my life. But no, I'm like there are other cars I'm open to. Just not right now.
You want an E350 wagon?
Absolutely not yours.
They're still E3.
I don't
the
need one
350
that's
is more than 39, so like it's better.
Right, yours have been. I don't need yours. Been hit twice.
Okay, Kennan, I have better paint match. Just throw that out there.
Oh, wow. Jesus, it's true, but wow. Okay, next question. We got the answer there. Kennan's only ever had E39 or E46 or E36. BMWs from the era of which and then the Ferrari.
And my Ferrari.
330xi is a surprise. I always forget that Kennan had a 330xi.
It was
5
rusty.
speed.
Did you have the million spokes?
I hope
No,
so. Oh,
no. It was
that.
it was,
So good.
No, I did not have those, unfortunately. And I think that was not on the all XIs.
Yeah, that was only on the XI, the million spokes.
Yeah. Imagine cleaning that for Kennan, though.
Dude, let me tell you something. As a child who grew up in Colorado, BMW coming out with all-wheel drive, the E46 was a big deal.
was,
The E30 iXs were really popular in Colorado.
Yeah, highly sought after.
And
for-
I used to see them as even now. You go back to Denver, you see a few, and then the XI, the E46 was a huge all-wheel drive, and a BMW. You could finally own a BMW in Colorado.
Yeah.
Okay, next
Great
question from Shooks24. At some point, I'd like to own a car for my birth year. My question to you is: what is the one car that you would consider owning from your birth year? I want to do this. F40, F50. Some BS. All right, nice. Next
That
question.
works, yeah.
You showed him.
Sounds right.
Got him.
Sounds right to me.
What is your? I assume yours is F50.
Of course. If I could own any.
What is your?
I don't know. Nothing comes to mind.
What
I'll
was
think
your
about
birth year?
1994.
Type in 1994. Just type in 1994 and let's see what we can find for him. Here.
Off to a
That
actually, that's a
Thunderbird,
cool-
honestly. E36 AMG. That Voyager, dude, Filippo, we got some good stuff for you.
C4.
Ooh, a C4.
You got a Mark IV. I forgot. Mark IV is
Mark
deep.
IV, yeah.
That's
You got FDRX7 too.
And R32.
Yeah, let's go by lowest
R33.
price, which is how he would sort it. There we go.
So true.
Boom.
I remember when this car sold. It was a
Honestly?
good car at the time.
That may have done it.
Yep. There we go.
There you
Done.
go. A 1994 Saab 900
I've
SE
always
turbo
preferred the
with
5-door, but it's fine.
I told you
130.
it would be an F40, an F50, and some BS, and that's exactly where we ended up. Scroll down a little, see if we can find something a little bit more exciting. Honda City. Oh, Saturn.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Saturn
I
SL.
love the SL.
This one was nice. I remember.
Saturn is
love
kind of
the SL.
Filippo.
Hey, Doug, didn't you review a Saturn SL?
Yeah. And one day. All right, last question. This one is intended to rile up Kennan. So this is how we're going to end. Question from Modali. Kennan, does it haunt you that you could have bought a CT5V Blackwing for the amount of money you spent on maintaining your M5?
No,
Somebody asked.
No, because it took me 10 years to do that. You forget that this amount of money is cumulative over the lifetime and 100,000 miles of use. Like
How much money are
The
we talking?
CT5V Blackwing didn't exist when I was in college, and I bought the car, and I needed a car.
What did the car cost you to buy?
I paid $10,800
Wow,
for it.
jeez.
Yeah, the
All
market.
right, what do you put into it?
I think all in, like with the purchase price of the car, I think I'm at like 72. Total.
Okay, so you put
Over-
62 into it, 10 grand to buy, and then what do we think it's worth? It's probably worth 30.
We sold one that was really similar.
But yours is like, it's yours and it's really nice. Like yours would sell for the most because of what you've, like how obsessed
Yes,
you've been.
but this one was really nice. This one was maintained very thoroughly. Same, almost. I mean, I
So
don't
30.
expect mine.
I think
So
yours would,
it's
if this
30-ish.
pulled 30, I think yours would probably pull a little more. When did this was 2 years ago. I think yours would pull a little more. So call it
30 feels
32,
right,
33.
yeah.
So you're in it for a 72, you said?
Yeah.
So
35.
you would have lost 40
Yeah,
for 100,000 miles.
Not bad.
for 100,000 miles. Yeah, in one of my favorite cars. So I don't.
100,000 miles is a lot of miles, to be clear.
Cost per mile is not bad.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't include, gas or presumably regular maintenance, but
I mean, no. That amount of money is everything. Regular maintenance, every light bulb, every bolt, everything.
every car wash, every
Including
Friday.
the purchase.
Well, the car that doesn't cost anything because I do that myself.
your time.
Yeah, but
well,
he
that's-
enjoys it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's
actually
enjoyment.
pleasure. It's
So
everything-
actually, Kennan has turned the script a little on the haters, hasn't he here?
Well, I mean, people love to come after you for that, but it's like, yeah, if you owned a high performance car for 10 years, I mean, like that's
Well, and 100,000 miles.
And
Like it was
100 and I used
really used.
yeah, and it still drives great, and I still love it, and so it sticks
Great.
around. So no,
happy for you.
I do want a CT5V Blackwing, but it doesn't haunt me in the slightest.
You know, I was thinking the other day, I was filming a video in the parking lot with the
Yeah.
Vistic.
Sure.
And I was thinking, I could get a CT5V Blackwing. That's pretty cool.
It's such a cool car.
Yeah.
That manual transmission is great, and the sound, and you get to experience range anxiety in a gasoline powered car in
It's just
2025.
such a special thing that still exists.
It is
And in
like-
20 years, we're still going to be talking about how cool it was.
Absolutely, it would be redundant to have them, but I hope to.
Is it the last manual V8 sedan? It is, right? Gotta
Yes, it is.
be. Wow. LX450.
Can we zoom?
Wow.
Is this- oh, no, because it's got a thing. Look at this ad. So, folks, Lexus LX450. And you know where you can't buy it? Here's an ad for it. You can't buy it from Lexus anymore. You know where you buy it? Cars and bids.
And you know where you make that diagram? Word.
Anyway, thanks so much, everybody. Been a
Don't.
pleasure.
Oh my god.
Best podcast we ever did. Filippo, any parting thoughts?
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.